Good morning, Shorians. I cannot believe this is our last PLC Wednesday of the year. Happy hump day. Hope it's not a hump day for you. Short week this week, short week next week, winding into graduation season and field trips. It's an exciting time of year, but man, it seems like it passed quickly and we still have a lot to do. So I have an ask of you. I have a survey that I am sharing. I'm going to go through it with you quickly. And it's based upon the tech goals that we developed last year that was done with our research and design team, the administration team, and our CBD consultants. And we took into account things that you had asked for and working towards that instructional matrix, how our instruction looks different for students as we're preparing them for those 21st century skills. So we want to make sure in planning for next year that we get some reflective feedback from you and also looking at professional development over the summer and planning for next year. So I just want to go through the survey quickly with you. Sometimes people are concerned about what might be done with the data that's collected. And I want to remind everyone this is not evaluative. This is really so that we can plan the very best to support you. We are asking for changes in our instruction and the way we do things for students and take it very seriously that to go along with that, we need to provide training and support and find out where you guys are at to support you in that. One thing about the survey, I want to note right here that if you see a red asterisk, it's required. So many of the questions will be required. You won't be able to go forward until you answer them, but there are some that are optional, and I will point those out for you. So the very first one is, where do you teach? And again, this has nothing to do with tracking individual people. This is really to get a sense for we can specify training if it's secondary people are asking for it more than elementary people or a particular building. It allows us to really hone in on how we do training and how we can support individual buildings and teachers. So that's why that's being asked. The first section is going to be on the tech goals for 18-19. And up at the top, you will see that I've given you the link to the SMORE that was sent out at the beginning of the year and in the middle of the year for the secondary tech goals, the elementary 3 through 5, and the elementary K through 2. Just as a reminder, I know it's the end of trimester 3. It's been a long year. So remembering back to even what it was you were asked to do or what you did with it in try 1 or even try 2 can be challenging. We've broken it down into each trimester because you were asked to do different things. And the feedback we got from our curriculum leaders and research and design people is that different trimesters may have been more challenging than others. So I want you to respond for each trimester. Were the tech goals that you're asked to do, were they too challenging? Could they have been attainable with coaching and training, or were they? Did they seem disconnected to your content? Did they challenge you to think differently about instruction, or were they easily implemented? And I want you to note first that this has a red asterisk, so you do need to answer the question, but also this is not a choose one. There may be more than one that apply in this particular question. So if you would answer that, and of course we have it for all 3 trimesters. And then the next question focuses on what you may have been done or what you may have done or used for support in addressing those tech goals. Again, the tech goals were meant to be a little bit challenging, but not so challenging that you felt like you couldn't achieve them and that you couldn't implement them in your classroom. So did you participate in summer PD around the MyTechs and the EEE introduction? Did you do after school sessions with CBD, shoulder to shoulder coaching with CBD, virtual coaching with CBD? We also have in-district coaches, Amanda at the elementary and Melissa at the middle school. So if you use shoulder to shoulder coaching with them, many people, especially at the high school, collaborated with their peers, even in their PLC groups. So if that was the way you approach those, great. Love to hear about that. If you were comfortable and didn't feel you needed any support, or if you didn't participate in any coaching or training. We also have an other on many of these questions, as I don't necessarily know everything you've done or would have needed. So I really want you to take the opportunity to share that with us. The next 2 sections are really just on your understanding of the 2 pieces that the framework for those tech goals were based upon. And that's the Michigan Integrated Technology Standards for Students, which we call the MyTechs. And the other one was a EEE framework, which talks about technology being used to engage, to enhance or extend. And if we can't answer those questions, it may be that technology is not needed in that particular lesson or on that particular day. And again, we've put a link in there. So if you need a refresher, I don't expect that these acronyms are necessarily stored in your brain, but you can have a refresher to see how well that you know those. I'm going to quickly just put an answer in, because if I don't, then it's not going to let me go to the next section. So I'm just going to quickly do this. I should have not done it and showed you guys what happens, how you don't move forward if you aren't able to answer them. So going to the next section, I can see I've missed one, so we'll take it. The next section of the survey has to do with summer learning opportunities. So the first part is if you participated in summer learning opportunities for last year, and you will see that these are not required. There's no red asterisk, but I would ask that you answer any that apply, because again, all this does is help us to plan appropriately. We really want to support you in your learning and what we're asking you to do. So first, what you participated in last year. This summer, what you may be interested in, and there is a choice that says I'm not interested in PD over the summer. I know summer is busy. I know people do things on your own. So again, these are not required. These are to support and move us forward if we're interested. The next one is, if you're interested, then when are we going to have it, right? That's always the biggest difficulty in planning. So we really, for those items and people that do want to participate, we really want to make sure we're planning them at a time that people that are interested can participate. And then we have a list of trainings that you may be interested in. And please note that at the bottom there's an other, and if you check other, it requires you to actually put something in, not just other, or it won't let you go forward. But there's things that we have either engaged in already for tech goals that may mean that we need to continue going deeper with those instead of doing something different. I do want to point out the option for Discovery Education resources. Discovery Education has been around for a long time, and there has been a lot of updates and changes. And as we've gone one-to-one, it is a great resource both for curriculum, but also if we think about that instructional matrix and how we develop lessons and opportunities for students to do things more independently. Discovery Education really has some interesting options for that. So if you have not dove into your Discovery Education recently, we do have trainers right in the district, and the ISD will also have offerings for you. Last but not least, this is PD and planning for next year. There have been many changes over the last couple of years about how we planned for professional development, and some tightening at the state and federal level of how those things are planned. So it is very difficult to approve or find money for those conferences that come up that we know about. So maybe it is the State Science Teachers Conference, or it is the Google conference that comes up. And we certainly want to support people being able to do that. We have two restraints. One is it has to be in our school improvement plans, and it has to be in our consolidated grant. And the other is realistically just being able to have the subs to allow you out of the building to do those things, and also to be able to focus on those district initiatives. And that's always a challenge with getting the subs and the training in for those too. So we're asking that anything that you wish to do, that if you could put it in this, that will help me for planning for next year. I really need to know the name of the conference, the location, what the estimated charges are, number of days. Talk about how it's connected to the building school improvement or your transformation of instruction, any personal goals, because those are all things that we have to put in again to the grant planning. So I just want to make a note that that does not take the place of, it doesn't imply that approval. We would love to approve all of them, but we're gathering information right now. And also that it doesn't take the place of the new online professional development form that needs to be filled out. This is really just for planning purposes. So the last thing I wanted to say is thank you so much. The work that has been done through the PLC process and identifying our power standards and working toward that enacted and viable curriculum, we really need that foundation of understanding the standards and working toward how we're going to assess them so that we can be more transformational in our classrooms and allow students different opportunities. So I appreciate the work that's gone in to that and to the changes I see in your classrooms and instruction and the opportunities that our students are having because of the work that you do with them. So thank you. Have a great end to your school year. If there's any questions or concerns about the survey or what's being collected, please email me or call me and we can have a conversation. I look forward to looking at your responses so that we can plan appropriately for the summer and for next school year. Happy Wednesday.